Welcome to our God-Inspired Teachings channel. The word today is Jesus Christ and His prayer life. Question: what does the word Christian mean? Answer: it means Christ-like. We as Christians are supposed to emulate or pattern our lives after Jesus Christ so that we are a mirror image or a reflection of Him. As we study the life of Jesus Christ, we will find that He put forth His utmost energy in prayer, and not in the miracles that He performed. You will never read in the Scriptures where Jesus travailed, went into agonizing prayer, cried bucket of tears, groaned or moaned whenever He was performing miracles. In fact, whenever Jesus did perform miracles, all He did was speak a word, or He touched them, or He gave them instructions to follow, and they were made whole, they were healed, or they were delivered. As an illustration, when Jesus stood by the grave of Lazarus, He was not desperately wringing His hands, or did He say, "Now what am I going to do?" No, Jesus did none of those things. All Jesus said was a simple prayer of thanksgiving. He said, "Father, I thank Thee that Thou hast heard me," which lets me know that He had prayed prior to raising Lazarus from the dead. Then He called with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth!" Guess what? Lazarus came forth. This account is found in John 11:41 through 44. You might say, well, Jesus was able to perform miracles because He was both God and man, and it was the power of God that was in Him that raised Lazarus from the dead. You are right. However, if we are born-again believers, we have Christ in us, which means we have the same miracle-working power that Jesus Christ had when He walked this earth. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith. Prove yourselves. Know ye not your own selves how that Jesus Christ is in you? John 14:20. At that day ye shall know that I am in my Father, and ye in me, and I in you. John 14:12 through 14. He that believeth on me, the works that I do, you shall do also, and greater works, because I go to my Father, and whatsoever ye ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. Mark 16:17 through 18. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils, they shall speak with new tongues, they shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. If you will study the life of Jesus Christ, you will notice a pattern in His ministry, which was, He went from praying at night to performing miracles and ministering to people during the day. Following are some of the scriptures to substantiate the prayer life Jesus had, after that He had been baptized and had fasted for 40 days. Matthew 14:23, and when He had sent the multitudes away, He went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, He was there alone. Mark 1:35, and in the morning, rising up a great while before day, He went out and departed into a solitary place, and there He prayed. Mark 6:46, and when He had sent them away, He departed into a mountain to pray. Luke 5:16, and He withdrew Himself into the wilderness and prayed. Luke 6:12, and it came to pass in those days that He went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. Wow, how many of us can say we've prayed all night? This pattern indicates to me that Jesus knew that prayer was the power source for Him to be able to perform miracles and minister to the needs of the people. Question: why did Jesus have to pray every night? Why could He have not prayed just one time and that would give him the power to do all the miracles he performed. Answer: the miracles Jesus performed during the day drained the power from him that he had received from his prayer session the night before. He knew that he had to replenish that power source with prayer, so he was fully charged for the next day's situations that he might encounter. Jesus knew no prayer, no power, and therefore no miracles. When you minister to people, it will drain or deplete the Holy Spirit power inside of you. Why? It is the Holy Spirit that is ministering to the people and not we as individuals. We are just conduit, or vessels that the Holy Spirit is flowing through to minister to the needs of those we have come in contact with. If you don't believe me that ministering to people will drain you of the Holy Spirit power inside of you, then why did Jesus say, "Who touched me? As I perceive virtue or power has gone out of me"? This is found in Luke 8:46, and Jesus said, "Somebody hath touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone from me." The word virtue means power. Luke 6:19, and the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went out of him virtue that healed them all. The crowd wanted to touch Jesus because the virtue or the power to heal them was flowing through him. After studying the scriptures, we find that the private prayer life of Jesus was the secret to his public power to minister to the needs of the people that he came in contact with. Therefore, if we want to emulate Jesus Christ, we must also establish a daily prayer life so that we are full of the Holy Spirit and we are ready to minister to the needs of people that God may bring in our life. Have you ever wondered how Jesus was able to endure the horrendous pain of having spikes hammered into his hands and feet, and how he was able to endure the excruciating pain when they dropped the cross into the hole so it would be upright? I firmly believe that the only way Jesus was able to endure the horrendous and excruciating pain to become our living sacrifice and to redeem our souls back from the curse of death, hell, and grave was because he had a prayer life. Matthew 26:36-44 gives us an account of the next to the last time that Jesus prayed while here on earth, and explains in detail how he prayed earnestly the night before he was arrested and then subsequently nailed to the cross. Verses 36-44. Then cometh Jesus with them into a place called Gethsemane, and said unto his disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be very sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep. And he saith unto Peter, What, could you not watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the 2nd time, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he went and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the 3rd time, saying the same words. The main reason Jesus prayed so earnestly in the Garden of Gethsemane was he needed the Father to infuse him with power from on high, so his flesh would willingly submit and be obedient to the will of the Father, which was to redeem mankind back from the curse of death, hell, and the grave. The only way Jesus could purchase our salvation was to become our living sacrifice so we could live and not die. Jesus went to hell in our place and took the keys of death, hell, and the grave from Satan, so that we could have the opportunity to accept the plan of salvation. Jesus Christ also knew he had to mortify or kill the desires of his flesh through prayer, so he was able to obediently submit his will to the will of the Father. Romans 8:13. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you through the Spirit, or by prayer, do mortify or kill the deeds or desires of the body, ye shall live. Galatians 5:16-17. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. We must remember that Jesus was wrapped in flesh, and that he experienced the same desires and emotional hurts as we do. His flesh did not want to go to the cross. His flesh did not want to be subjected to the excruciating pain of being whipped on his back, having a crown of thorns crammed on his brow, having spikes hammered through the flesh of his hands and feet, the spear thrust into his side, and the magnified pain when they dropped the cross into the hole for it to stand upright. Also, I'm sure Jesus, who had the gift of knowledge, experienced great emotional pain and heartache knowing he is going to be betrayed by Judas, one of his dear disciples, and also later on by Peter, who cursed and denied even knowing him. In addition, think how Jesus felt emotionally when people spit on him, slapped him in the face, and mocked him. We must never forget his flesh felt the same physical and emotional pain as we would if the same things had happened to us. Also, I'm sure Jesus was grieved in his spirit because mankind did not comprehend nor understand his boundless love for them, and that he was going to be their sacrificial lamb so they would have a way of escape from the curse of death, hell, and the grave. The last prayer Jesus prayed while on earth is found in Luke 23:34, where he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It was the dedicated prayer life of Jesus Christ that gave him the strength to complete and accomplish the will of the Father for his life. We as Christians must also establish a dedicated prayer life so we can be endued with power from on high to bring our flesh under subjection to the obedience of Christ, thereby enabling us to do the will of the Father for our lives and complete the assignments he has ordained for us to accomplish. Luke 24:49, And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry in the city of Jerusalem until you be endued with power from on high. Question: Have you ever wondered why Peter denied being Jesus Christ's disciple? Question: Have you ever thought, I would never deny being Christ's friend? And how could Peter do such a thing after following him all those years, listening to his teachings and seeing all those miraculous signs, wonders, and miracles? The answer is, Peter would rather sleep than pray. Plus, he had confidence in his flesh that he would never, never, never deny being Christ's disciple. Jesus Christ tried to warn Peter that Satan desired to have him and that he was going to sift him as wheat. This is found in Luke 22:31-32. And the Lord said to Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail thee not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. The above scriptures also states Jesus prayed that Simon's faith would not fail when he was tempted. However, Peter did fail when he was accused of being a disciple of Jesus Christ, and he did deny the fact 3 times. You might say, why did Peter fail when Jesus prayed that his faith would fail him not? Answer: Peter failed because he had the power of choice to fail or not to fail. Plus, Peter failed because he slept when he should have been praying. Apparently, Peter didn't comprehend the importance of prayer, even though Jesus warned him to watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. This is found in Matthew 26:41, where Jesus said to Peter, "Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Mark 14:29 through 31, "But Peter said unto him, Although all shall be offended, yet will not I. And Jesus said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, that this day, even in this night, before the cock crows twice, thou shalt deny me thrice. But he spake the more vehemently, If I should die with thee, I will not deny thee in any wise. However, Peter did deny Christ, which is found in Mark 14:72. And the second time the cock crew, Peter called to mind the word that Jesus said unto him, Before the cock crowed twice, thou shalt deny me thrice. And when Peter thought thereon, he wept. Another reason Peter fails is because he had confidence in his flesh that he would never deny knowing Christ. Philippians 3:3 says, We are not to have no confidence in the flesh. If we have confidence in our flesh, we will always fail, because the flesh, or our carnal nature, is at enmity with our spirit man. Romans 7:18, For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. As Christians, if we are striving to become Christ-like, then we must make sure we are plugged into the overcoming power source by establishing a dedicated prayer life. Acts 17:28, For in him we live and move and have our being. John 5:30, I can of my own self do nothing. John 15:5, For without me you can do nothing. Zechariah 4:6, Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Question, did you know that prayers never die? That's right, and you will find this in the following scriptures. Revelations 5:8, And golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Revelations 8:4, And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angels' hands. Question, did you know Jesus prayed for us before he went to the cross and before he left the earth? That's right. You will find this prayer in John 17:20. The New Living Translation says it this way, I'm praying not only for these disciples, but also for all who will ever believe in me through their message. Therefore, since prayers never die, the prayer Jesus prayed for mankind is still ascending before the throne of grace. In conclusion, much prayer equals an overcoming Christian. Little prayer equals an ordinary Christian. No prayer equals a carnal or fleshly Christian. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments, questions, or need prayer, our email addresses are listed below. May God's blessings rain down upon you continually.